This is the worst we have ever seen Donald Trump. So here's what happened. On Sunday evening, PBS reported the existence of a letter that Donald Trump sent to the Prime Minister of Norway, which, of course, the Prime Minister of Norway did in fact confirm its authenticity. And the letter basically said, I'm not going to work towards peace anymore because Norway didn't give me the Nobel Peace Prize. So because I have a big sad, I'm basically now threatening war. Because when you say you're not working towards peace, then you're doing the opposite of peace, which is war. I mean, that's the only thing you can really deduce from that. Here is what Donald Trump said in this absolutely mentally ill letter that he sent to another world leader. Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China, and why do they have a right of ownership anyway? Trump continues. There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you. Listen, Donald, if you're going to start poking holes in whether or not a country is allowed to be ruled by who's ruling it because they landed a boat there a couple hundred years ago, I think the indigenous people of the United States would have something to say about that, right? Like, you can't claim a land just because your boat landed here. Yeah, a lot of indigenous folks raising their hands right now like, wait, hold up, really? Because we have a couple grievances we'd like to discuss if that's the case. Also, this is giving real strong Hitler being rejected from art school vibes, right? Trump says, I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, so give me Greenland or you're going to face the consequences. Hitler gets rejected from art school and he goes down the path he went down. I mean, and by the way, also, like, we're in the 2020s. That all, the wheels of that got in motion in the 1920s. So here we are, 100 years later, repeating history, different names, different faces, but almost same scenarios here. Trump's mad because his feelings got hurt. Hitler was mad because his feelings got hurt. And now here we are. So this is absolutely dark times. This is mentally ill. This is, I don't know if it's the rage that comes with dementia or if it's just he has no filter anymore. But this is definitely mental illness. This is definitely dementia. This is definitely dictatorial crap here. And this is 100% grounds for using the 25th Amendment to get this man out of office. He has to be removed from office. He has to. Now, I know before everybody starts like, but that's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. I know that. But that is not going to stop me from mentioning the fact at every possible opportunity that J.D. Vance and the rest of this cabinet of clowns have the ability to do it. They're not. We're watching in real time on a daily basis as this man descends further and further into madness. And part of his madness is this desire for global conquest. We do not need to own, as Trump says, Greenland for national security purposes. We have our national security presence there. Russia and China do not. Greenland is not under threat by those countries. There is no available evidence to suggest that that is even something these countries are even thinking about, let alone attempting to do. if Russia or China were to try to do something with Greenland and position themselves right there with Canada and the United States, miles away, basically, that would effectively be mutually assured destruction. They're not dumb enough to do that. Russia might be, but China definitely not. Donald Trump is. Not just dumb, but now also clearly crazy. There is nothing left of this man's brain. And his insanity is pushing us towards what could end up easily being World War III. All because he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Let me retract that. It's not because he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Honestly, folks, this goes back further than that. This is only because Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. That's why all of this is happening. I'm not blaming Obama. That's not his fault at all. But way back then, when that happened, it was at 2009, 2010, something like that, it pissed Trump off at the time. This was before he was considering entering politics. Pissed him off. That caused him to go real hard against Obama, eventually, getting into politics because of his hatred for Obama, because Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. So if Obama had never won that Nobel Peace Prize, pissing off Donald Trump for no reason, that doesn't impact you at all, Donald. But if that had never happened, this thing with Greenland would not be happening right now. So it is weird when you look back at, these little seemingly insignificant historical events, it snowballs. And yes, we did see a lot of that in the lead up to World War I and, of course, World War II. But the similarities between what Donald Trump is doing and Hitler do not stop at the, I didn't win the Nobel Prize, I didn't get into art school. What was Hitler also doing at the time when he was also, taking over these other countries or pieces of other countries? He was rounding up people here at home and sticking them in camps. Does that also sound familiar? I mean, we are mirroring what took place there. We're mirroring that right now in the United States of America. And I don't think enough people realize that. I don't think enough people see it's not just similarities. It's copycat. It's not like, well, this is no. You're taking people, you're demonizing certain religions, telling us they are the enemies. These countries are the enemies. We need this land for this. We need this land for that. I've already got Venezuela. Now I need Greenland. Now I need a little piece, a little piece, a little piece, if you remember the Mel Brooks song, right? But that is where we are at this point in the United States of America. And don't get me wrong, Hitler was crazy. I mean, obviously, those beliefs that he held, the things that he did, those are not normal, okay? I get that. But Hitler didn't have dementia. He had lots of other health issues that, caused him to have a lot of insecurities that, led to psychological problems. Trump has those too, though. But he also likely has dementia. So we're dealing with someone who, in the end, likely would not have the same death toll, I don't think. But somebody who is even crazier and more extreme and less predictable. He's going after Greenland. That is going to happen. And one of the bigger problems we have here in the United States is just the fact that Republicans are on board with it. Now, not the voting public, right? Not the American citizens, but the lawmakers are. Ted Cruz came out, I think it was Saturday, and was like, yeah, we absolutely have to have Greenland for national security purposes. We can't do it without Greenland. We have to have it. So he's got the people that could rein him in on board with this. He's got the cabinet basically by the scrote, so they're not going to invoke the 25th Amendment. We are stuck. for now. We've got midterms, maybe coming up in November. Who knows? He's going to cancel them. I am firmly convinced he is going to attempt to cancel them. You know, he's going to do everything he can to cancel those midterms. Like, that is not a doubt in my head. He is absolutely going to do that. Just like with the whole Greenland thing at first, it was like, oh, well, he's kidding. He's not going to do that. It's a joke. And then it's like, oh, no, he's actually serious, but he makes a good point, right? See how it evolves? Same thing with the canceling of the elections. He's mentioned that 3 times now in the last couple weeks. And Republicans are like, well, he's joking. He's not actually going to do it. You see, he's laughing as he says it. And now it's going to evolve into, well, he's got a point. I mean, we've got this war in Venezuela. We've got the war for Greenland going on. So many bad things are on the horizon. Even if we took away the foreign policy part. I mean, economic analysts coming out over the weekend warning us like, hey, shit's about to get real bad, real fast. Depression levels. So even if he weren't going insane with the foreign policy, we have all of these problems here at home that he is just not addressing in any capacity. And they are getting worse here. But here's the other thing. Even before this absolutely unhinged letter to the Prime Minister of Norway, he came out, a day and a half prior to that and said, I'm going to slap tariffs on everybody who doesn't let me take Greenland. All the NATO countries, so 27 of them, even though he said it's only 8. However, if you put a tariff on one because it's the European Union, it's a tariff on all of them. So it is actually 27 countries, including the United Kingdom. So he's already making threats. He's already saying starting February 1st, you got a 10% tariff. By June, it's going to go up to 25% on top of the other tariffs that I have already put onto you. Not to mention the fact that all of that means we pay more. Europe is going to end up in the position where they have to sanction the United States, where they have to put embargoes on us. In order to stop this madman, they're going to have to do to us what we have been doing to other countries for decades when there is a madman or dictator in charge that we don't want in charge. We squeeze their population to the point where the population doesn't want this person there anymore. That's what Europe is probably going to end up doing, especially now with this new tariff threat. And honestly, as much as it's going to suck for those of us here, myself included, obviously, do it. I want them to do it. Donald Trump thinks he's this big bad bully. And sometimes you got to kick the bully in the groin. And that's what that would be. And that's the only thing he is going to respond to. That is the only thing he is going to do. So that's what has to happen, because we know Republicans in Congress are not going to do anything. His cabinet is not going to remove him like they should. Europe, on the other hand, has the ability to squeeze us financially and wreck us economically. I don't want that to happen. I don't want the pain of that, but that may be the only thing that stops this guy. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.